do hope you are doing well. Welcome back to the channel. It is 2025. Happy New Year, everyone. I hope you had a good festive season and managed to get some rest, do some things you like, and so on and so forth. In this episode, I thought we would take a look at a bit of a pick and mix of what's on my homepage on Reddit. Just because it's been a while, I don't really know which one I want to look at, and a couple caught my eye just as I opened it up. So let's go ahead and take a look. The first one, help, should I forgive him? Okay, so it was my birthday. I have shitty birthdays every year and I feel irrelevant, but this year I had a boyfriend. So I was expecting it to go well. This is kind of sad already, I mean, I know it should only be one sentence, but this is kind of implying that how well your birthday goes depends on whether or not you're in a relationship, which is anyway. The night of my birthday, my boyfriend came to surprise me, even though he told me before coming. He showed up on my door and handed me a bag of flowers. I looked at the flowers and realised, damn, I don't like these flowers, nor do I like the way they're wrapped, and he knows that. Okay, I guess it's not the thought that counts. In the bag was the chocolate I hated and cake that I also don't like. By the way, he knows all this because I told him. It wasn't a special gift or thoughtful because he even got me a necklace that I told him I don't like. So I was bummed out, pretended like it was okay. I texted him and told him that, hey, I don't think your gift was thoughtful. He got so mad and began to argue. I went into my birthday crying because he was being so mean. Then the whole day of my birthday he didn't text. The day after we were supposed to go out, but he didn't text either. For days he didn't text. Then he sent me flowers randomly and said happy birthday, but girl, it's a bit late now. Like I cried my whole birthday because of you. What do I do now? Should I forgive him? I'm 15 and he's 17, by the way. Well, first of all, 15-year-old and a 17-year-old shouldn't be together. It's the law in most countries, okay? Most countries, I mean, I don't know if it is most countries, but yeah. Girl, how old are you? You're 15. You sound like you're 15. To be honest, you sound really spoiled. It's not even am I the asshole or am I freaking out? Am I taking this too far? It's should I forgive him? You've decided that he's done something wrong because he got you stuff that you didn't like. Okay, maybe it's stuff that you already told him you didn't like. But this is only your side of the story. Maybe, it wasn't obvious to him. Maybe he just fucking forgot. Maybe it was actually different flowers or different wrapping, but you think it's the same. He doesn't think it's the same. Whatever. You're freaking out about nothing. So, yeah, as I say, you're acting like a 15-year-old, which I can't really blame you for that, but I hope you grow out of this kind of behaviour, this way of thinking, honestly. But anyway, so yeah, 15-year-old and a 17-year-old shouldn't be dating in the first place, but let's assume that you were both 15, right? Let's imagine you were both 15. So let's assume that he did do something wrong, which is debatable. Getting so mad and beginning to argue, that was both of you. You went into your birthday crying, apparently because you think he was being so mean. Maybe he wasn't being mean. You seem a bit not that trustworthy of a source. Sorry, I'm kind of getting into OP here, but I call it like I see it, okay? But anyway, let's assume he did do something wrong. Then you guys argue. You folks argue. And yeah, you're crying on your birthday. For days he doesn't text you, and then randomly he's like, oh, happy birthday, here's some flowers. And now you're like, it's a bit late, I cried my whole birthday because of you, what do I do? Should I forgive him? Like I say, I think that, you're only 15 and you're saying your birthdays always go terribly, but now you've got a boyfriend, so now it's going to be different. For a fucking start, right? I mean, arguably even 15 is too young to be having a boyfriend. And you're saying all your previous birthdays were shit because you didn't have a boyfriend, and now you do, so now it's gonna I just find that so wrong. There's so many things wrong with this post. I can't. What am I getting at? Do you understand like why I'm having a hard time with this? There's just so many things that it's like off, that's just not right about this. Um but anyway, regardless, should you I'm trying to concentrate on the question you're asking, but it's so hard because I don't think you're in the right here. Should you forgive him? I think you should fucking, I mean, was there even anything to forgive? Do you know what I mean? Like, this is the problem. Like, if you ask, should you forgive someone, that implies that they have done something that deserves to be forgiven for. But I don't know, based on what you've said, because I don't trust that the situation went down the way that you think it went down. Honestly, um, should okay. So let's say it wasn't the birthday. Let's say it was some other situation. You're both grown ass fucking adults, which you're not. But let's pretend, okay? And someone does something to wrong you. You get in an argument. They're disrespectful or whatever. You're very very upset. They don't message you for days, and then all of a sudden they message you. Should you forgive that person? Should you act like nothing happened, or should you say, you know what, fuck you? Well, did you try and message them during that period? Because it takes two to tango, and as I say, in this situation, I'm pretty sure y'all were both dancing. But I would say that sometimes people need a little bit of space and a bit of distance to cool off, and maybe BF was thinking, if I message something right now, it's either going to be completely fake or I'm going to say something that I'm going to regret. So let me just not say anything at all. That could have been the wisest decision of all. But if it was like your birthday, and let's assume the argument had nothing to do with the birthday, and then like your boyfriend just doesn't say anything at all, then it's like, oh, that's a bit shit. But do I think it's a big deal? No. Do I understand it in context? Yes. Am I going to be fucking butthurt about it? No. Would I forgive them? Probably, yeah. I honestly, I don't think this is a fucking big deal. But as I say, you're 15, 17, break up. Next. I, 18-year-old female, found out that my ex is marrying my sister and no one told me. I'm completely shattered and don't know what to do. My ex, who's a 23-year-old male, I hope this was a short relationship after your 18th birthday. Oh, you dated for 2 years? Oh, shit. So you were fucking 16 and he was 21? Illegal, not okay, not cool, not alright. Moving on. He was my first love, and when we broke up 6 months ago, he said he wasn't ready for anything serious. I was devastated, but I let him go, thinking he needed time to grow. Yesterday, I found out he's marrying my older sister, who's 22, and no one in my family told me, not a single word. I only found out because I saw her Instagram story of them at a wedding boutique with the caption, "Can't believe I'm marrying my best friend." My hands were shaking as I called her. She didn't even apologise. She just said, well, we didn't tell you because we didn't want to hurt you. Hurt me? How did they think this wouldn't? How did you think she wasn't going to fucking find out is more to the point. Now my parents are begging me not to make it a big deal and saying I need to be happy for them. I feel like I've been betrayed by everyone I love and I can't even begin to process how to act around them. How am I supposed to move on when this feels like the ultimate betrayal? Typo, I'm 19. Okay. I'm just in math. So first of all, it's fucking weird, right? Like if you break up with someone and then you find out that they're marrying one of your siblings, that is fucking weird. Then this was only 6 months ago that they broke up as well, moving pretty fast. He gives some probably bullshit excuse, let's be honest, because if you're not ready for anything serious and then you're getting married 6 months later, that was probably bullshit. But who knows, maybe he realised that the sister was actually like the fucking love of his life or whatever and changed his mind. I don't know. What's the question here? This is an r/advice. How am I supposed to move on when this feels like the ultimate betrayal? Who is it that you think has betrayed you, my dear? I'm not saying that they haven't, but who do you think it is that's betrayed you? Because you already gone down and broke up with your boyfriend, so he is allowed to be in a relationship with somebody else. How did he betray you? Is it because he's marrying your sister? Would it be okay if it was someone else and not your sister? okay, then again, it takes two to tango. What about the sister? Do you feel like she's betrayed you? What if, like, this person is genuinely like the love of her fucking life? Is she supposed to not be with him because he dated you once? I would say probably don't be with him because he's dated a child when he's not a child. That would be my reason for avoiding him. But do you know what I mean? And then your family saying not to make a big deal out of it. Again, I question their judgment if they were okay with a grown ass adult dating their child. But again, let's assume that people have done something that's worth saying that you've actually been betrayed. The ultimate betrayal. I'm sure there's many worse things you can do. Ultimate betrayal. What I do think is fucking stupid though is to say we didn't tell you because we didn't want to hurt you. That is absolute bullshit. Like, either you're fucking idiots or you're lying at your ass. Because it's not as if it's a distant friend or like someone you used to be friends with and now you're kind of not, or a colleague or whatever. It's your fucking sister. Obviously she's gonna find out. Don't be so fucking stupid. So I would say I would be more annoyed at that they didn't tell you, rather than the fact that they're getting married, whereas you seem to be more annoyed that they're getting married. I mean, you're young, he was your first love, yada yada. I get it, like, it feels like a big deal to you right now, but girl, in a while, you ain't gonna care. I hope. If you've got any sense, you ain't gonna care. And if you do, then I feel bad for you. Because honestly, this is just, he's not worth fucking, like, I don't want to say like ruining a relationship with your family or whatever, but like he's not worth all of these emotions that you're feeling, you know? Who is he to you now? No one, he's just your fucking ex. Then he's going to be your brother-in-law? That is weird, but that's not on you. That's nothing that you did, and there's nothing you can do to change that. See, this is the thing, right? Like, situations can be shitty and situations can be not your fault at all, but that doesn't mean that you are any more able to change the situation than if they weren't shitty or than if it had been your fault. The fact is, they're getting married. There's nothing you can do to change that, so it's just a case of sort of finding that inner peace within yourself, thinking about all the good things that you do have, all the amazing things that are still to come for you, and having the, what do you call it, like the maturity and the class to be happy for other people even if they've wronged you. Do you know what I mean? Because I do think that, again, whether this warrants like the word betrayal is whatever, that's up to you, but I think that if you are mature, happy, secure within yourself, then even if someone who's wronged you, you still have the ability to wish good things for them. Do you know what I mean? You don't have to hold a grudge on people. You don't have to say to yourself, oh, well, I hope that it doesn't last and I hope he does the same thing to you or whatever. I think the best way to move on is just to accept the situation and see that as being things that are happening in their lives, not something that's happening in your life. Do you know what I mean? This isn't happening to you, it's happening for them. Therefore, it should not impact you that much. Does that make sense? So yeah, but as I say, you're still young. In a while, it's not gonna matter. Which I know is like easy enough for me to say, and it's like, okay, fine, now what do I do in this situation that I'm currently in? Well, it does matter to me. As I say, I think just try and like find that inner peace within yourself. Try not to focus on them. Focus more on yourself. Okay? Okay. Next one. Girlfriend, 24-year-old female, ticks all of my 26-year-old male boxes, but missing one huge one. What should I do? My girlfriend and I have been together for just over a year, and I already feel like she could be the one for me. She ticks almost all of my boxes, but there's one significant challenge that weighs heavily on my mind. I deeply value career ambition and the stability it brings. Ambition doesn't equal stability, you've got that mixed up. I work a full-time 9-to-5 job, and while she's an incredible person in so many ways, her current situation concerns me. She graduated in textile design at the end of 2023, but has been struggling to find a job ever since. Her temporary visa is set to expire in March 26, And while I have the ability to help her gain permanent residency, I feel like it's far too early in a relationship to take such a big step, like moving in together or sponsoring her. What worries me the most is that she seems lost and uncertain about what she wants to pursue. She even admitted that textile design may not be a viable career path, but despite my efforts to support and encourage her job search, I feel like she hasn't been putting in enough effort to find a role that could potentially lead to a sponsorship. I don't want to be overbearing or push her too hard, but I also feel that if she doesn't take action soon, we'll run out of time. I'm torn because I love her and I want to support her, but I can't help but feel the weight of these uncertainties. How do I tell her that she needs to put more effort into this without hurting her or seeming unsupportive? Should I keep supporting her and hope things improve, or do I need to consider ending the relationship to protect myself from the emotional strain and potential heartbreak? You need to have you need to have an open and honest conversation with her. Basically, I thought this was going to be like a judging someone based on their job type thing, which it doesn't seem to be. It seems to be more about like practicalities of the future, like you say, the stability, the visa situation, and so on, and not wanting to jump into something just because of that pressing issue. But you say, I also fear that if she doesn't take action soon, we'll run out of time. If it was gonna work, it's gonna work. Do you know what I mean? It sounds like if she doesn't get her visa renewed, then it's going to be like a long distance relationship type situation, which don't get me wrong, like I understand if you didn't want to try that, but it's kind of like, I feel like in this particular situation, you can't really separate her job slash visa situation from the relationship situation, because what am I getting at here? Do you know, as I say, like at first I thought this was going to be like, oh, I'm judging you based on your job, and because you're not ambitious and you don't have like a stable 9 to 5 job, I don't want to be with you type thing. It doesn't seem to be like that. It seems to just be like the fact of the situation is that you don't have a job, and unless you get a job, you're not going to be able to stay here. Therefore, we're not going to be able to be together because we won't physically be in the same place anymore. How do I tell her that she needs to put more effort into this without hurting her or seeming unsupportive? Don't lead with, hey, you need to get a job, or don't lead with, I don't think you're making enough effort, or you should be making more effort. Lead with, I could see this really going somewhere, and I'm worried that if you don't get a visa in time, we won't get to explore us fully. Do you know what I mean? That sounds a lot nicer. It sounds a lot more, we're in this together and I want to be with you, than so about this fucking job situation. Do you know what I mean? So I would frame it that way. Like, don't start with what you want her to do. Start with why you want her to do it, which is ultimately because you want to be together. Should you keep supporting her and hope things improve, or do you need to consider ending the relationship? Have this conversation with her. See if things improve. If they improve, great. If they don't, then you maybe need to have a think about, like, she's clearly not doing it for herself. She's not doing it for the relationship. When is she ever going to do it? How's this going to be like in the future? What about, if you do stay together, you get married, you have kids or whatever, and she has some situation where she's out of a job, and then is she again not going to look for something? Is she going to, like, do you know what I mean? Obviously that's like thinking way ahead down the road, but you seem to be asking about, for the long term here. Do you need to consider ending the relationship to protect yourself from emotional strain or potential heartbreak? I think you are considering it. The fact that you're answering that question means that you're considering it, right? I don't think we're at that stage yet. I think you need to have the conversation first and see how that goes. If the conversation doesn't go the way that you want it to go, then obviously, have a think about stuff. But yeah, I don't think you need to start calling things off yet. Especially, what kind of throws me off though is that you're saying, like, ticking the boxes. I deeply value career ambition. So is it the visa situation, or is it not the visa situation, or is it both? I don't know. But just because she's in this situation right now and she's like, maybe textile design isn't the best course, doesn't mean that she doesn't have ambition. Do you know what I mean? Like, maybe the reason why she's coming to this realization is because she does have that ambition and she's now starting to think practically, like, how am I going to get to where I want to get if, you know, I continue down this industry. Don't know. But yeah, just have a chat. Next. Am I the asshole for not checking to see if my wife locks the door? Why can't your wife check for her damn self? I'm a 34-year-old male. Had a brief time a few months ago where my wife, 32-year-old female, found our front door had been left unlocked overnight a couple of times when we were at home. She said this made her uncomfortable. Who left it unlocked? Who's to say? Maybe me. I can own up to that. So I started making a strong habit of making sure I always lock the door when I come in the house, even if I'm going to be going back outside quickly. Problem solved, right? Well, fast forward to now, and all of a sudden my wife comes to me and says, what can we do to make sure you check to see if the door is locked at the end of the night? This is like 3 times now that I've brought it up. I go to bed before you, so it should be your responsibility. Girl, really? Now, I know she was the last one home yesterday. Neither of us left the house after she got home. So she left the door unlocked last night and is mad at me for not checking behind her. I explained my perspective and the change in habit I had made, but she keeps on saying that since I'm usually the last one awake, I should be checking the door and is now being terse/short with me. I can see the logic to both the rationales, but am I being unreasonable to think that she's being a touch ridiculous about this? She left the door unlocked, didn't say that she did, and got mad at me for not checking behind her. Am I the asshole? This is stupid. I also am a person who likes to have the door locked. It was the way in the area and wherever that I grew up in, okay? You have to lock your door. So I also feel uncomfortable if the door is not locked. I would appreciate for my partner to understand that I prefer to have the door locked and to act accordingly, i.e. make sure that they always lock the door as well. That to me is like perfect. That's all I can ask of you. If I then don't fucking bother locking the door myself, then I'm sorry, but I'm not qualified to ask anyone for anything in this situation if I can't even be bothered doing it for my damn self. Do you know what I mean? Like, that's stupid. And then saying like, oh, it's your responsibility because you're the last one asleep. No, it's your responsibility because you were the last one to fucking open the door. Do you know what I mean? Like, the fact as well that it's like coming to OP and being like, what can we do to make sure you do this? How about more like, so sometimes I've noticed that the door is still unlocked by the time we go to bed. Would you mind checking it every night before you go to sleep? Maybe then OP would have been more inclined to be like, yeah, sure, why not? But the fact that it's like, how can we make sure you do this? Do you know what I mean? It's just like a completely different attitude to me. And I'm just like, I go from being, yes, that's reasonable, I will support you in this request, to fuck you, do it yourself. Do you know what I mean? But no, you're not an asshole for checking to see whether your wife does the thing that she's telling you to do herself. Next one. I'm 35-year-old female. I'm not meeting my brother's 31-year-old male expectation as an aunt. First of all, I don't think anyone has the right to expect anything of anyone as an aunt. Anyway. So I have a younger brother. My brother has a son while I am happily child-free. I do, however, make an effort to connect to my nephew, who's 3 years old, which is hard for me because I admittedly often find myself being awkward and not knowing what to do or what to say when being around small children. This has been communicated repeatedly. My brother has repeatedly criticised me for not being good enough. Recently, he started to give me regular performance reviews. Bitch. All of which I have failed because he says I'm doing it wrong. I asked for advice on how to do better. That's fucking more than I would do. He says he can't tell me how to properly love a toddler, but the way I'm doing it is apparently degrading, disrespectful, and borderline abuse. Fuck off. Fuck all the way off and concentrate on raising your fucking child. Do you know what I mean? You're focusing on the wrong shit. Oh my god. He did not provide examples such Oh, sorry, he did provide examples such as not having sat in the correct spot while playing and not dropping my fork the second my nephew wanted attention during Christmas dinner. So basically, you're a fucking spoiled brat and you're raising your child to be the same way and you expect everyone to play along. Correct? I sincerely apologise for obviously having screwed up so badly. Girl, why are you letting your fucking younger brother manipulate you so much and fucking act as if he owns you? Ugh. But I also said I was really trying. He said, if that is the best I can do, that's pathetic and he was ashamed of me. Fuck off. I'm seriously at a loss of what to do. He stated that if I don't start meeting his, still to me, unclear expectations, he will go no contact, in effect, putting me on probation. Why is this guy acting as if it's a fucking job? Oh my god, this guy's pathetic. My nephew, by the way, seems unfazed and always happy to see me. He keeps coming up to me with books to read and toys to admire, which I do to the best of my abilities. I find that hard to reconcile with the claim that I'm such an incredible failure as an aunt. Can someone please give me some advice on how to proceed? Am I the problem here? Your brother is the fucking problem. Your brother is a fucking controlling, manipulative asshole. If he wants to cut contact, I'm sorry, but let him. Do you know what I mean? Like, fucking call his bluff. Let him cut contact and realise that if he's that fucking petty and ridiculous and stupid, that he would remove an important person out of his child's life just because they aren't doing everything exactly the way he wants. Do you know what I mean? Like, let him realise that that is the wrong thing to do, and if he doesn't, that's fucking up to him. Why should you suffer his idiocy, basically? Do you know what I mean? Like, giving you a performance review, telling you you're pathetic and borderline abusive because you're not fucking jumping on everything this child wants. Bitch, I don't fucking think so. What's the question? Can someone give you some advice on how to proceed? Tell him to go fuck himself. Frankly. No, you're not the problem. Stop being so fucking apologetic. You haven't done anything wrong. How have you screwed up so badly because you didn't sit in the right spot while playing? That is ridiculous. Honestly, I feel sorry for that child and how the brother is raising him. Honestly, that's just fucking... Ugh, next. Whenever I have a problem with this friend, they start venting to me, but I shut them down yesterday. Am I in the wrong? When I try communicating problems I have, every single time they start venting, and what do you mean if I have a problem with this friend, but when I'm you mean you've got a problem with them? Like, hey, I've got a problem with you? Or you mean I've got a problem, can I talk to you about it? This is unclear. Every single time they start venting, and I obviously feel bad for them, but I feel like then my problems get disregarded. They've done it so much times, so so many times. So yesterday I told them what I noticed, and now I feel so bad and I feel like I'm in the wrong. Am I in the wrong? Well, what did you fucking say? This person I'm pretty sure is mentally unstable, and I feel terrible since they have no one. Was I in the wrong, or did I do the right thing, or could I have handled it better? You haven't given any information as to what you fucking did. I tried my best to be nice, and I said something like this. Man, it's like whenever I try talking to you about something that hurts me, you start telling me about all your problems. Like, I obviously feel bad for you. I swear I do, but it's just, I don't know. Well, that's very meh, isn't it? So, let me get this straight, right? Okay, so it seems to be that the situation is that you've got some sort of problem that you're going to talk to your friend about, hey, I've got this problem, and then they start venting to you about something. Is it something related? Is it something similar to your situation? Because if it is, maybe they're not venting, maybe they're just trying to say, I get it because I've also been in the situation that you've been in as well. I understand where you're coming from. Do you know what I mean? Is it that they're just launching into completely unrelated problems that they have? Maybe they're just fucking self-centered. Or maybe they're trying to like reciprocate, like, oh shit, you've got that problem too, or you've got that problem, that's a shame, I've got these problems as well, let's fucking, get close and personal, let's confide in one another what our personal struggles are. Do you know what I mean? But just being like, man, it's whenever I try talking to you like about something, blah blah blah, like, it doesn't seem like you thought that through. It doesn't sound as if Because you're not saying like, oh, I just snapped, or like, I just couldn't take it anymore, or whatever. It sounds as if you just fucking didn't really give a shit in the moment and just blurted something out, to be honest. If you're saying this person is unstable and doesn't have anyone, then I think that you could have been a little bit more considerate in terms of like thinking ahead of time. Like if this has happened so many times, you've obviously been thinking about it. You could have thought in your head, how will I bring this up with my friend? What will I say that's going to be like nice, but also like putting across how I feel? Because this is the thing, right? Let's say this friend is not trying to relate to you and they're just like taking over the space and the conversation with their problems instead of listening to you. You have every right to say, I don't really think that's cool. Can you not? Do you know what I mean? You don't have to sit there and take it, is what I mean. But there are ways to go about it. So for example, if I was in that situation, what would I say? So I'm like, friend, hey, I've got this problem, yada yada, this is the situation. The friend goes, oh yeah, I've got this problem also, so this is what happened, and blah blah blah, this, that and the other thing. And maybe we go like, yeah. I feel like we didn't really finish talking about my thing though. Is it okay if we go back to that for a second? And that way you're gently saying, I still want to talk about my problem, we're not finished talking about my stuff yet. And you're literally asking, not demanding, you're asking, can we go back to my thing? Because I'm not really finished with that, that's not resolved for me. And if they say, shit, sorry, of course, please go on, great, problem solved. But if they're like, what do you mean, blah blah, like, but my problem is better, or my problem was worse than your problem, then you've got your answer, they're not your friend. Do you know what I mean? So, are you in the wrong? You're not in the wrong necessarily, but I think you did it. Yeah, could I have handled it better? Yeah. And you could have given us a bit more fucking information as well. But yeah. You're not in the wrong, you just should have handled it better. Yeah. Next. Boyfriend, 26-year-old male, doesn't want me to wear coloured leggings to the gym. Is he controlling or demanding respect? In what way is telling someone what colour of clothes to wear respect? Honestly, see the way people fucking like twist things, like, and manipulate people and control people? It enrages me. My boyfriend doesn't want me to wear coloured leggings to the gym. We both love going to the gym and almost always go together every day. He gets upset every time I wear coloured leggings, aka not black ones. I always wear a top with long leggings or a long sleeve with short leggings, so my torso or legs are covered. I don't like showing both, aka top and shorts. I've been doing this since before we met. He always wears a tank top showing his arms and shoulders and a short. Is he asking for respect or being controlling? Is it fair of him to be mad at me? I'm not sure how to react. TLDR, boyfriend gets mad when I wear coloured leggings to the gym. Clear cut case. He is being controlling asshole. There's absolutely no reason in this situation for him to be telling you what to wear. What situation can he tell you what to wear? When it's a case of safety, when it's fucking like you're operating heavy machinery, you need to be wearing like a hard hat, or do you know what I mean? Like, but to go to the fucking gym and arguing with you about the colour of your fucking leggings, in what world is that about respect? How old are you? You say the boyfriend is 26. How old are you? Because I seriously suspect that OP is much younger and this is a case of fucking grooming. Because, I mean, that's the typical pattern, isn't it? You know, be a creep. Find some innocent young person to prey on, love bomb them, then turn it around and tell them to do a bunch of stuff that's completely unreasonable and that you have no business telling them to do. Obviously, I'm jumping to conclusions. I only have these lines to go off. But do you know what I mean? We see it over and over and over again. And I'm kind of fucking sick of it. So that's the vibe I'm giving right now. Last one. Am I the asshole for losing my shit and screaming at my girlfriend to get out of my house after what her stepbrother did? Probably. Girlfriend was over at my place 2 days ago. We're both 20. She has a stepbrother who's 23. Before this, I'd only met him a few times and he seemed like a regular dude. She asked if it was okay for him to come over too for a couple of hours, and I said why not. He said he would get booze and pizza, and my parents were away visiting relatives for the weekend, so I figured we could shoot the shit. I have a little sister who's 15. They came over and she stayed up in her room the entire time. We were all about tipsy, and my girlfriend's stepbrother asked if he could use the washroom. I pointed him to the one down the hall. My girlfriend and I were preoccupied and didn't even realise how much time he was taking until we heard raised voices upstairs. We immediately went up to check what was going on and found my sister crying. Dude had gone up instead of using the washroom. My sister's door had been ajar, so he apparently walked into her room. All details I managed to wrangle from my crying sister, by the way. She was taken by shock and was trying to stay calm, but he wasn't leaving. He was trying to chat her up. This is disgusting. She told him to get the fuck out, and he closed the door behind him instead. Which is why she started freaking out. She tried to get past him to open the door, and he grabbed her, but she managed to open it anyway. I'd reached the landing by then, so he backed off. Obviously, I was super fucking pissed. There was a lot of screaming going on, lots of accusations. We were all drunk except for my sister. After getting the story from her, girlfriend's stepbrother was stuttering and deflecting. I'm pretty sure I threatened violence at some point. My girlfriend was trying to be the mediator. She said I had to calm down and couldn't fly off the handle based off word of mouth. Fuck you. Like, one, the sister has no reason to lie. Two, you fucking heard the kerfuffle and saw that he was in a room. How is that just based off word of mouth? You're acting as if it's a fucking rumour or something. Fuck off. But I was there, exactly. I saw my sister crying in a panic. I know what she's like, and I know she wouldn't lie about something like this. Why would she? Exactly. I told her stepbrother to get out of my house. My girlfriend kept saying we could sort this out and have a proper conversation, but I didn't see what conversation there was to be had. Why is she fucking defending him? That to me is weird. Is there something going on there? Eventually she said, what if my sister was lying in front of my sister's face? I asked her what on earth would make her think that, and she said she's a kid and could be making it up for attention. It's people like you. It's fucking people like you. Like the title said, I lost my shit. Well, it wasn't then about what he did, it was about what she did, right? I told her to get the fuck out, and afterwards she kept calling me, but I ignored everything. The dust has settled a bit. I went over everything again with my little sister. She promised me it happened the way she was telling me. She told me she was scared he was going to essay her. Exactly. Come on. What else? What other reason would he be there for? My girlfriend texted me this morning saying I shouldn't have raised my voice like that, and I scared her. I thought of apologising then, but she still hadn't said a word about apologising to my sister or addressing the issue with her stepbrother. Exactly. So she's texting you to be like, oh, by the way, I don't like the way that you acted in that situation. What about the way you acted in that situation? I'm not saying don't bring it up that you shouldn't be shouting at me, but admit first your part in the situation. Do you know what I mean? I only replied that we had to talk, and she said there's nothing to talk about. There's no hard proof in her words, and the stepbrother ended up doing nothing. So she told me she would deal with him and I should drop it. Get to absolute fuck. I don't know if I'm the asshole for the way I handled this. Maybe if cooler heads prevailed, the silent treatment wouldn't have happened and we could have discussed everything. I don't know what to do from now on either. I love that girl. I don't want us to be over, so I want some advice on where to go from here too. Bitch, get rid of her. I'm not one to be like, oh, break up, whatever. But see, when it's like, I mean, there's two situations. Like, one, when it's a fucking adult and a child in a relationship, break up. That's not okay. That's not right in any sense of it. And secondly, is when the other person is clearly being a fucking prick, which she is. So going back to the question, am I the asshole for losing my shit and screaming at my girlfriend to get out of my house after what her brother did? Okay, it was technically after what her stepbrother did, but it wasn't because of what her stepbrother did, it's because of how she acted in the situation, because she was accusing the sister of lying, basically defending the brother, acting as if everything is going to be fine. Instead of being like, oh my goodness, what the fuck? We need to leave and talk about what the fuck just happened. Let this girl feel safe in her own fucking home. Let us leave this situation so she feels okay, so she can fucking recover, and then we'll talk about what actually went down if this was some wild misunderstanding, which I can't imagine how it could be, but do you know what I mean? Like, if you're like looking at it from the girlfriend situation, if she's like, this is my stepbrother, I know him, I trust him, I don't think that he was doing anything wrong, how can I just suddenly like turn my back on him? Okay, maybe that's how she's feeling. But don't then instantly just like accuse this child of lying when you were all there to see the aftermath of the situation and how the stepbrother was clearly in her fucking room. Do you know what I mean? Like, again, what reason would he have to be there? So I think either way you slice it, she behaved in the wrong way. Not only that, but then again, she's messaging you to be like, you shouldn't have done this. Full stop. Which, okay, maybe he shouldn't have been screaming, but I think it's totally understandable in the situation. I'm never really one to be like, yeah, shout and scream at your partner or whatever. I don't think that's a good idea. However, I do feel like it's justified when you think that someone who they're defending was about to fucking assault a member of your family. Then I think it's okay to start screaming and losing your shit. Do you know what I mean? So again, as I said before, it's not that she shouldn't be saying, I don't like the way you talk to me, but that should be on top of and after saying, I'm sorry about the way things went last night. Do you know what I mean? Do you understand the fucking difference? Whereas it just seems as if she's like, I've got a problem with you. You're the one that's like doing things wrong. I'll handle the situation. Maybe she's just fucking lying, whatever. Like, no. What would I do in that situation? Break up with her. But if I was like the sister, right? Or not the sister, if I was the fucking girlfriend, right? And again, say I was in a situation where it's like, I know my stepbrother, I don't think he would do that. Then say I get kicked out of the house, we get kicked out of the house, then we're like texting the next day or whatever. Be like, I'm sorry the way things went there last night. Look, I talked to my brother. This is his side of the story. I believe that this is what happened. I think that it was, a misunderstanding. Maybe we can get together and just talk it out, make sure that everyone is comfortable and okay. But of course, if you don't want to do that, or if your sister's uncomfortable, then my brother doesn't have to come over to your house ever again. That's not a problem at all. Do you know what I mean? But it doesn't seem as if the girlfriend is even considering that the sister could be telling the truth, which is just like, oh, I don't even want to get into that right now. But yeah. Interesting one to start the new year with, huh? I feel like, we've had a lot of episodes where I get a bit fired up, right? But I feel like it hasn't been like with such variety of getting fired up like this. I guess it makes sense because, as I say, we did like a pick and mix from what's on my homepage rather than going into specific subreddit where then we get more themed getting fired up stuff over. But yeah, I hope you enjoyed the episode anyway. You know me, I just do this like for some entertainment for myself and you. But yeah, thanks for joining me. Hope you enjoyed the episode. Let me know what your thoughts are in the comments, if I'm just talking absolute bullshit or if you're with me in this frustration. Watch some of my other videos if you feel like it. Have a great day and I will see you next time. Bye bye, 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 bye.